How do you see, the family institution in Singapore developing? And this is a question for all of you, but we'll start with Carson first.
Well, such a deep question. So, for me, my personal experience, I used to be very involved with the kids. When they were young, I will go and organize a lot of parties, in the nursery, in primary school. And then I will be the one who twists all the nice balloons, the flower balloons, the what do you call that, the poodle, and all those. Yeah. And then one fine day, I discovered that they don't carry those things anymore. Then I realized, oh my gosh, they've grown up. So fast. It just overtakes you. And then I had to change my skill set. I said, okay, how am I going to engage them? How am I going to get them interested and do things together with them? So I took up magic.
I see.
Yeah. So I became a magician. Well, everyone starts somewhere. Yeah. So
you upgraded yourself for
upgraded,
them.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
That's so nice.
They will grow on their own. So I needed something new to fascinate them. Yeah.
Oh, that's really lovely.
Yeah, so that's what I did. And the best part is that actually magic is not just good for young people.
Yeah.
They're good for adults, they're good for the elderly. Yeah.
Yes. And actually, I'm really realizing now, okay, me being the YP, right, the young punk. I'm not that young now. I'm not that young. I'm just saying, because I'm not a parent yet, right, that, I'm always like, I'm quite selfish in the sense that what about my career? What about my life? But I'm realizing after talking to three of you that a child helps you grow as well. Like you took on a whole new skill for your child, which is a selfless act, but it also helps you grow, which is simply amazing.
So actually, when my daughter went to secondary school, she took up this thing called Infocom, which basically is about dealing with photography and videos. And and one fine day I was in Facebook and I got this advertisement for this particular job, and I say, hey, this is my opportunity to be in line with my daughter, right? Yeah. So she does videos, I do videos, and then we can talk, and there are things to talk about.
That's so nice.
And here I am, one whole year later.
Yeah, that's so nice.
So at least we have some common things to talk about, and what do you know? The future is videos, right?
So I mean, okay. So how do you? I want to ask the questions to both of you as well. I just want us to bear in mind. This generation and the generation after us, and all the information of different ways of being married, different ways of raising children. Also, the real issue that we're not having enough children in this country. How do you think Singapore is going to expand on the family institution or develop?
The challenge is so many of us were brought up with the mindset of the stop at two policy, and therefore
that's right.
It will take generational change to take place. You cannot change the thing overnight. So hopefully with better informed parents, they are then able to grow the next generation of children who would love children.
That's really nice.
So that way we can try and recover the ground. But that means then that the current generation of parents, we need to up our game and make sure that we can do it right, so that our children can be the type of parents who would love to have children around.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. Last question. So how do you think we can keep family, values, or the Family Institute at the core of our Singapore society? Or do we even need to do that at all? Is it important? Is it necessary?
It's definitely important. I think just the very point that you said that, the family size is shrinking. And how do we encourage the next generation to want to have families? You were just saying, what, 3, 1 or 2, 1 or none?
That was me, right? Sharda, 2, 1 or none.
Right? So yeah, I mean, to your question early on, I think it's a lot about support, family support, finding a community, extended family support. I mean, with such a shrinking family size, that's where you need to lean on beyond your immediate family. You got to see beyond that, your relatives, your cousins, and all that, you know. You know, there was this statistics I thought was really interesting. It's saying by 2030, and that's really 8 years from now, there would be only 2 working adults supporting an elderly citizen. Decades before, you'd have 14 working adults. So it's a really stretched resource.
All these statistics are like suddenly
exactly.
really hitting me.
And that's where, and that's why the family bond is not just immediate family. You want to maintain that connection with extended family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where the centerpiece of family used to live, all generations under one roof, and maybe children were, in a way, less spoiled and privileged because there were so many of them. And, you know, it's like you're not the center of the whole world of your parents' eyes, right? And that's where marriage is important as well, right? Because it's a declaration and a commitment of like, I'm getting married to my partner, but I need all your help. I need you all to witness, right, you know? Yes. Yeah, I'm starting to see that and how important values are.
I do say this to my kids, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, sometimes when they're doing a drawing and halfway they just tear it out and crumple it up, you know. And I keep telling them it doesn't need to be perfect. And like Chee Onn says, you know, one fine day when I'm trying to do something and I'm really struggling, and he goes, Dada, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, and which is quite true. I think I wouldn't say being a perfectionist, but when you're trying to make things perfect, sometimes it actually prevents you from finishing your work. Yeah, and that's really tough. That can be really tough on children. And you know, when they say that back to me, it's really tough on me. And if I can, I pass that on to everyone else. You know, take action, and it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, I think actually it answers my last question, which was I wanted one thing that you'd like all Singaporeans to know about raising a family. That was a beautiful way to kind of like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Raise a family and just raise them with love, right? Yes. What about the both of you? If you could share one last thing about audiences, what would you share with our fellow Singaporeans about raising a family?
I put a bit of thought into this. There's just one thing, there's just so many things, right? And you did it so nicely. You just said it doesn't have to be perfect. The one thing I would definitely recommend is to build a strong alliance in marriage. You know, with your partner. And I think because, I mean, there's this quote, I fell in love with it. I came across it a few months ago. It's by Hal Edward Runkel from his book, Screen-Free Parenting. And he says, parenting isn't about children, it's about the parents. Okay, this could be controversial. He's like, oh, what it is? But you know, but that jumped at me because I thought, you are in this together.
Yeah.
And your children really need you to have a stable, strong, loving relationship.
Okay, for me, you know, in view of all the challenges of modern day living, my first encouragement is always for parents to, you know, be more equipped. Times have changed. What used to work doesn't work anymore. So we need to be willing to learn how to be better parents. And for dads in particular, right? It's a shout out to more dads than moms. Moms tends to be, because they're very maternal. You take time to ask your friends but dads are not like that. I mean, the guys we tend to say, oh, never mind, we'll figure it out, you know. And we don't want to ask anybody. So the big thing is really for dads to up their game, and in order to up your game, you need to learn how to do it better. And when you do it better, moms have a better life too. Right? And so together you can do it better and so for moms, and the encouragement is that please make sure that your dad stay in the game. Keep him there, because at the end of the day, a child needs both a mother and a father.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I feel like this is all just a pep talk for me. So we're set up for it. I felt like that was a big pep talk for me, but I also understand how important and crucial this conversation is for Singaporeans. And I always walk into these topics, feeling like, Singapore family, what are we going to talk about today? But when we unpack and we really look deep into the core values of what it means to have a family in Singapore, despite, yes, the challenges, it really is... it's very, very meaningful. And I really like what has been discussed today, that it doesn't have to be perfect. It really is about the partnership and for children to see their parents as the role models and parents to learn so much from their children as well. As a mom-to-be, I'm very inspired by today's conversation. So if you're as inspired as me, please feel free to leave your comments in the description. If you like the video, don't be afraid to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. So check out the links to our NFTs in the video description below. Before we go, big thank you to our guests today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope the next time we meet, okay, I'll invite you to my wedding.
All right.
That one is a reasonable declaration. We'll see you next week on our next episode. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.